All right, so now we're live. Hopefully, anyone who's watching right now, if you have any comments or suggestions for this upcoming live video, so please comment them down below. So, for an introduction on our webinar tonight, uh, we will be discussing how to file your Form 1701Q online, which is also known as your quarterly ITR. Now, what's the difference between this webinar, between the last one? So tonight we'll be actually taking a closer look at 1701Q, especially if you're on the 8% tax, which is a majority of people will most likely be on. So we'll be discussing later into the webinar a recap on 701Q, what's it all about, yung mga deadlines and the purposes for 701Q. I'll give you guys a primer on 8% income tax rate, how to know if you're on the 8% income tax rate, and how to calculate your tax dues, especially if you're on the 8% income tax rate. Now, before we begin, let me introduce myself. I'm Liej Alas, the Growth Manager of Taxumo. And with us tonight is our Customer Success Manager, Melanie Santiago. And after my session, she'll be discussing how you can file your Form 71Q online if you're on 8% tax on Taxumo specifically. So welcome to the webinar tonight, Melanie. And thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you as well, Liege. And I think others are still warming up for the week after a long weekend. And
Yes.
surprisingly, surprisingly, over the holiday, there were a lot of inquiries about tax filing. So I think people enlist taxes as something that scares them or something that reminds them of, what's something that they need to watch out for. So it's interesting, and it's good that we have these videos because we also have this to send to further inquiries as well, so that it's easier for them to learn about filing quarterly income tax.
Yes, exactly. And it's good to hear. It's good to see naman na people are filing. Asking questions this early on kasi malapit na yung deadline for 701Q, which is, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure of it now. It's November 15. So it's just BIR pala ha. Like Taxumo, you'd be filing on November 13, right? Yeah, sige. So before we begin,
Yes, so we can also send them list of deadlines if they need a guide.
yes. We'll also be discussing the deadlines later pala, guys. So you don't have to worry about anything. And before we begin the discussion naman, if you have any questions naman or any comments, please put them down below. We will be answering them after our demo. So if you, by chance naman, that you missed something very important during our talks, don't worry, because this session will be recorded and will be available on our Facebook page. I'll begin with a short primer naman. It's a short discussion lang on 1701Q. So what is Form 1701Q? It basically summarizes all the income and expenses you have for the quarter. And who are required to file? It's all individuals engaged in business, trade, or practice of profession. So if you look at across all the different tax schedules, ano pa yan, graduated income tax rate, 8%, OSD, or whatever all those are, the common filing that everyone has to do is 1701Q and 1701A, which is your annual ITR. Now, so if you're registered with a BIR with your business, then yes, you will need to file your quarterly ITR. And if you can see here in the slide naman, there are multiple deadlines for filing your 1701Q. There's May 15, August 15, and the one which is coming nearby is November 15, which is your third quarterly income tax return. And if you're asking why naman na walang fourth quarter dito, it's because the annual ITR will cover your fourth quarter na income tax returns. So don't worry about that naman. And just for everyone's clarification lang, that iba yung annual ITR and iba yung quarterly income tax return. And we get that a lot na people will just file for 701A. No, that's not how it works. You need to file your 701Q as well if you're also filing your 701A, unless if you want to pay the penalties in the BIR, if you want to do that. But we suggest and we highly encourage you to file your 701Qs on time. Next, I'll have to another note naman is that 1701Q is not equal to 2551Q. So your quarterly income tax return is not the same as your percentage tax returns. And the difference is that 1701Q is an income tax return, meaning it's taxes on your net taxable income, whereas your 2551Q is a percentage tax, meaning it's applied on your gross sales or revenue. So that's the fundamental difference between the two. One is income tax and one is sales tax. So that's the main difference naman. Now for 8% income flat, 8% flat income tax rate, you can only get this if you're a sole prop or for professional, and if you're earning a gross income of less than 3 million pesos a year. Now, there's 4 deadlines that you need to be aware of, like what I said earlier, that there's annual ITR on April, May, the first quarter file will be on May, next would be on August, and then on the third would be in November. And the reason why pala that you would go for 8% flat income tax rate is that it eases the tax compliance process. Whereas if you're going for the regular, yung default the BIR, you will need to file 2551Q. But if you're on the 8% flat income tax rate, you're basically reducing the number of taxes you need to file by 4. Kasi you don't need to file 2551Q anymore. And that's the main benefit of flat income tax rate. And then, how do you know if you're at 8%? So if you're BIR registered, please check your certificate of registration. It should indicate there kung ano yung tax schedule nyo. And if you're still confused, probably give your RDO a call to double check yung tax schedule nyo. And then how to compute your quarterly RTR. So that what I've said earlier naman, the 8% flat income tax rate was meant to ease the whole tax compliance process. Now, with that ease comes in yung ease of computing your tax dues. So it's very simple. So if you're purely earning from business, yung tax payable niya from 8% flat income tax rate is your gross sales minus 250,000 kasi may deduction na tayo given by the trade law, and you multiply that by 8%. Now that's purely earning from business. Now, if you're mixed income, meaning that you're an employee, you're fully employed, then the formula becomes gross sales times 8%. And the reason why walang 250,000 deduction dito is that deduction is already applied to your salary. So it no longer applies to your business. So that's how 8% flat income tax rate works. Now, that's the brief introduction on 8%. Now, deadline. Please remember that the deadline for Taxumo is on November 13. Taxumo's deadlines are 2 days earlier than the BIR. So if you are filing through Taxumo, there's still a lot of time left. We're on November 5 right now. So marami pang oras to comply with this. Now, for the next part of our session, I'll be handing you guys over to Melanie to discuss how to file your 1701Q on Taxumo. All right, I'll add your Melanie, is it okay if I add your okay.
So thank you, Leej, for that. And I think a lot of people are interested for the 8% income tax rate, given that it's like what you mentioned for individual taxpayers who are earning below 3 million. So if ever you need more clarity on that, at least you can also talk to us. We also have our CPA consultants who can help you on that as well. Now, going on the filing process, this is our website. We are starting the demo for people who we assume have not yet created their Taxumo account. So we want to remind you and we want to tell you that Taxumo is an accredited tax software provider by BIR. So that means when you file and pay your taxes to our platform, it will be remitted to BIR. Now, on the website, there's a sign up for free button. So like we tell you, you heard that right. It's for free. You can always create an account because there are people who want to test out the system yet before they subscribe, which is fine. There are 3 methods when you sign up. You can sign up via Google or via Facebook. Should be easier for you if those accounts are already logged in on the device that you are using. Or you can also go for email plus password. But remember, whatever method that you choose to sign up for should be the method that you log in so that you can easily log in and trace your account. So once you have your Taxumo account already. Let me just move that here. This is what your Taxumo account should look like. Ayan. So it will show you all of these tabs. But before we proceed with the filing, let's go first with the settings. So when you sign up with Taxumo, the system will present to you questions to make sure that all of the details that we need to file the form is filled out. But just to make sure that you get the details right, because there are people who test out the system and then later they just revise the correct information, which is fine. And you can go to the settings first before the filing to make sure that all of the details that you will be declaring upon filing are correct, which includes taxpayers details. Ayan. All of those informations are here already. It would be best if you have your certificate of registration as basis for the taxpayer's name. We want to remind everyone, if you're an individual taxpayer, yan, mga professionals or sole proprietors, the taxpayer's name is the name of the person. But if it's business entities already like partnership or corporation, it's usually the name of the company. But nevertheless, check on your certificate of registration. Also, very, very important for you to check that you have inputted the correct tax identification number. So for some of you who have memorized the 9 digits lang, commonly people know the 9 digits, but make sure to check if there are 10 extensions. No, for those na wala namang ibang registration, it usually ends in 000. But for others who have 10 extensions, probably because they have business branches that they have registered, you can check accordingly for what specific form that you are filing. But for the specific demo, for 8%, we're talking about individual taxpayers kasi. So check on your tax identification if that is the correct PIN that you inputted, and make sure that you have completed or pre-filled all of the details here. Now, the purpose of this one is that this will be the reference of your account to automatically fill out the tax forms. So every time you file through Taxumo, you don't have to worry about filling out the form. Your account will do that for you. Now, below that, very important for you to get the details right here as well on business profile. The line of business is actually indicated on your certificate of registration. And then make sure that you indicate the correct period. So if you're filing for the year, you have to indicate that you're filing for the year, or for others who are catching up for late filings, quarterly filings of earlier this year or last year, you can also indicate the date. Now, the system will ask you to fill out the business profile for each of the year, but for specifically for this one, we're talking about quarterly income tax for 2020. Now, on this specific part, this is where you indicate your business type, if you're both selling goods and services, or providing services lang, or selling goods. For income source, we want to remind you, and by the way, there are tooltips along the way to guide you through. Very important for you to indicate your income source for this specific year. Now, if you started the year being employed and then you started your business on your own, you can input mixed from business and employment. Or if you are currently employed and you are earning as well from the business, you have to indicate mixed from business and employment. But if you started the year earning solely from business or from profession, you have to indicate that as well. Now, income tax rate type. Specifically, this session are for those who opted for the 8% income tax rate. So you have to make sure that that is indicated on your income tax rate type. And then you can fill out the rest like taxpayers type. And of course, you have to indicate. And then the deduction method doesn't really affect on this specific filing because you're on 8% gross receipt tax. And then you can check on, make sure that you have selected income tax along with the other forms that you're filing. But for this specific form that we are filing, make sure that the income tax is selected as well on the settings. And if you revise some information, make sure to click on Save Changes. Now, you don't have to worry about this part. Uploading of COR is optional. This is really for your reference. And signature is optional as well for online filing. So make sure you click on Save Changes if you revise some important information. Now, for others who are just starting on the platform, best to get started with cash flow. This is where you review your transaction and check if those were income or expenses. Now, for this specific tax filing, what's very relevant is your income. Now, if you have the transaction details, it would be best that you input here on cash flow. Just click on add and it will be asking you of the gross amount of your income. Now, all you have to do is fill out those details and indicate the date of the transaction and indicate as well the category of why you are paid for that specific transaction. Was that through services or for retail? And make sure to submit the details. Now, you will see if it's reflected accordingly. If ever you have been inputting specifically for this filing, I know we're filing for the third quarter. So you can filter out just to make sure if your entries are there. So this is already pre-filled. So there you have it. And if ever you have other transactions that you need to add, you can always add them on. And if ever you have previous transactions that you need to edit or delete, you can also do so on your cash flow. Now, on your cash flow as well, let's say you have a handful of receipts, you can also go for bulk adding of entries, or for others who have already pre-recorded the transactions offline. Now, if you want to upload that Excel file on your Taxumo account, you can download the template, which I already did. And the template looks like this. So all you have to do is transfer your records to this specific template. You can also indicate here the categories that you have. And once you are ready to upload, click on this button and upload that specific file. Now, here, ayan, once you're done, it should automatically reflect the computations on tax due. But just in case there are income tax taxpayers, filers who have 2307s on hand. So what do you have to do with them? So of course, you have to indicate on cash flow income the gross amount of that transaction. But if you have your 2307s with you, you can go to withheld tax received. That means you receive a 2307, you can click on add record. All you have to do is follow the details from your 2307 and input them here accordingly. So this will be the means for your account to factor in the credits of withholding tax declared on your 2307. But for this case, you are required to upload the signed 2307 so that we can also include that on the attachments before you can submit the file. Now, if all of your 2307s are here or certificate of creditable tax withheld at source, it should be reflected here accordingly. But for others, wala naman akong 2307 at hand. I've already inputted on cash flow. Let's go directly to tax dues. All right. Now, the forms that are selected here are based on what you have selected on the settings. Now, for this specific form that we are filing, we're filing for income tax for the third quarter for those who opted for the 8% income tax rate. Now, just in case for others, you're also catching up with the missed filings, you can also indicate that accordingly, but you can see them on red boxes for late filing. But for this specific demo, let's focus on this specific form, quarterly income. So you know you're filing the right form. We call this tax card. So we know you're filing the right form. If you can see, there's quarterly income. You will see the period coverage. So that means for this specific quarter, quarter three, you're filing for the transactions that you've had for July, August, and September, which is due this November 13 for Taxumo, and the actual BIR deadline is on November 15. Now, once you're ready to file, all you have to do is click this button, File Now. Now, I know this can be overwhelming for others who are newbies in the field of taxation, but don't worry, the system will walk you through the month. So if this is an amendment, let's say you already filed, but you want to amend some of the information, correct or update your initial filing, you can check this button. Now, if you read the descriptions, it's going to be easy for you to understand. Like for this one, non-operating income for the current quarter, this would be the income that you have generated prior to getting registered with BIR. Now, if you have that, you can key that in. If it's not applicable to you, if there's none, just leave it at zero. Now, how much is your total income for the quarter? Now, we have calculated this based on the quarter that you are filing. But just in case, last minute, you're catching up with filing, you don't have the time to detail your income on cash flow, you have pre-computed already your income on your own. You can directly input the value here. So pwede mo siya ilagay directly, your total income for the quarter. But for others who want to maximize their subscription and really want to detail out on cash flow, also for the sake of the other functionalities like books of accounts, you can input them on cash flow. But for others who want to file directly, they have pre-computed their total income for the quarter. Again, you can input the value here directly. And if ever there are withheld taxes that you have already pre-computed and you did not have the time to have that uploaded, you can also factor that in here. But if it's not applicable to you, you can just leave it at zero, click on next. Now, this specific part, this can be confusing as well for others, but you can see that there are learn more buttons that you can click, which will lead you to a specific write-up explaining more about it. So you can check if this is really applicable to you and where to look for that. Now, for this specific portion, like excess credits from previous year's annual ITR filing. So just in case you have credits, you can input that here. If it's not applicable to you based on wala namang value, or this is your first time to file, or wala zero value siya on your previous year's filing, you can leave it at that. For the others as well, let's say your initial filings were outside of the platform kasi we're filing for quarter three right now. Just in case your quarter one and quarter two has been filed outside of the platform, this will be the time that you can input the values here. So you can check on the initial forms that you have and input the value here. But the advantage, if you filed everything through Taxumo, you don't have to go through that through the fuss of checking on the previous form. This is already pre-filled. All right. But again, if this is not applicable on your end, kung wala namang wala zero value siya for, especially for those who have just recently registered, you can leave it at zero. So again, there are learn more icons that you can check out on, including for taxable income from previous quarter, income tax payments since start of the year, tax withheld for the previous quarter, and if this is an amendment, just in case you filed outside of the platform, you can input the value here. Or if it's not applicable, leave it at zero. Click on proceed once you are ready to file. In this case, I have zero tax due. So this might be the case for others who have no transactions for July to September. Let's say you have zero transaction at all or zero income, which maybe the case will be at zero tax due. So you still need to file the form. So in this case, we're filing early as well. So you can see that there are no penalty computations. So once you click on proceed to check out, the paywall is required by the system. So instead of letting you choose from the payment channels, it leads you to this specific paywall, which you can just click this button to initiate the filing to BIR. Now, I'm going to show you another demo if there's an actual tax due. So in this case, for my demo account, let's say I'm filing for the second quarter pala. Ayan, second quarter, I have actual tax due. This is for the sake of just showing you how it looks like if you have actual tax due. So when you click on file now, it will show you the same questions because we're still filing income tax. So I've already explained previously some of the parts. So once you're done with the specific steps, click on next. Again, there are learn more icons that you can click, learn more buttons, so that you can know more about the information that is being asked here, and then click on proceed. So in this case, I have actual tax due. Also, if you are filing late, which we hope that you won't, just in case you will be filing late, there's a penalty computation automatically factored in. So the advantage of, even if you're filing late, but even if you're filing late and there's a penalty computation, the advantage of using it, filing it through Taxumo is that you don't have to go to your RDO to have the penalty computed. It's automated on your Taxumo account. But in case you're filing early, which we encourage you to do so, you will see that there are no computations for penalty included here. So you will see the actual tax due. Click on proceed to checkout. This is where you can choose from the payment channels however you want to pay your payable taxes. So if you've done purchases online, you may be aware that each of the payment channels has their own gateway fee. So all you have to do is just click if ever you want to pay via GrabPay. You can see their gateway fee here. Once you click on pay now, you will be asked to log in on your GrabPay account. If you want to pay via debit, credit, or prepaid card, which some people are after the points kasi. So you can go for that. They have a higher gateway fee though. But if this works for you, you can click on pay now. You will be asked to input your card details and security numbers. And then for PayPal, this is only available for transactions below 1,500 pesos. So if you are in that value and you want to pay via PayPal, you will be also asked to log in on your PayPal account and pay accordingly there. If you want to pay via online banking, this is very convenient for others who have online banking functionality. You will see the banks that are available here. Their gateway fee is around this amount, 10 pesos lang. And once you click on pay now, you will be asked to log in to your online banking platform. But for others, we really make it convenient for people. We have a lot of options for you to choose from. Let's say I haven't really activated my online banking, but I have a nearby bank that I can go to. So you can pay over the counter as well. You will see the banks available here, and their gateway fee is not that bad. And it's at 15 pesos lang. Or for others, I'm not into banking. I'm not into online transaction, but I want to pay through non-bank over the counter like buy centers, payment counters. You can also do so. So you can click on that, and then once you click on pay now, you also will be asked to input some necessary details so that the instructions will be sent to you. Now, each of the payment channels has again their own notifications, so you may be able to receive some email or SMS confirmation of that transaction once you've processed the payment successfully. You can check on tax dues, past filings. So this is where you can see the forms that you may have attempted or have filed successfully. So kanina, you've seen me go through the um, payment platform, but I didn't pay. So it's on unpaid status. So just in case, like last minute, I want to pay tomorrow. I'm still scouting on funds, which is fine. You can cancel the filing and redo the filing again once you are ready to pay the tax due, just in case. Or in this case, if you have no payable but you haven't filed, it's going to show this one. So you have to make sure to cancel and redo the filing once you are really ready to file. But what does it look like if you filed and paid successfully? It should be on this status in progress. So in progress means that you have filed and paid successfully through your Taxumo account. Once you see that status, you can relax already and then just visit your Taxumo account some other time or day once you're ready. But at least you've done your part. It's still in progress because Taxumo has to make sure that we receive the confirmation, the BIR confirmation, and the tax payment record. Now, no need to worry because we make sure that you receive those and upload that automatically to your Taxumo account. Now, what does it look like if you have if the confirmations are already uploaded on your account? So from in progress, it should be on completed status. Now, for the sake of demo, ayan, I have another tax card, but for the specific card that you're filing, it should be on completed. You can view the form already. You can view the BIR confirmation and the tax payment record. Now, all of these specific forms and the confirmations and record are proof already that you filed and paid successfully online. But just in case, for others, they need the stamped forms of a specific tax form that they filed in Taxumo, all you have to do is view all of these forms, print those, and have them stamped to your RDO. But nevertheless, for others, I don't need a stamped copy. I'm not really applying for anything that needs a stamped form. If you have these confirmations and payment record, you can stay safe at home. And this is your proof already that you filed and paid online. So there you have it. Um, Let me just refresh. Okay. So you can check on your past filings for the status of your the form that you filed. If you have any questions, you can always click on the chat box of your Taxumo account, or there's also a chat box on the website for us to assist you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Melanie. So let's go ahead now to our Q&A portion. We have a few questions na sa comment section natin. And guys, if may pahabol kayo na question, please just comment down below and we'll answer them in the in the next few minutes. So yung first question natin dito is from Tasha Tuazon. So she's asking if I'm BMBE, do I need to file quarterly income tax or just the annual ITR?
Okay, to clarify, BMBE, for others who are not familiar with that, it's for barangay, for those who applied for as a barangay micro business enterprise. Now, there's a specific provision for those filing under BMBE that they are exempted to pay income tax. But in this case, what was the safest thing to do is still file the form. But if you really want to make sure, Tasha, if you need to file quarterly or annual, best to contact your RDO. But as far as we know, the safest thing is to file the form, indicate accordingly on the form that you are a BMBE certified taxpayer. And of course, that will be reflected accordingly to your filing.
And just to follow up on that, Melanie, she'll need to check on the COR, right? To confirm.
For BMBE, yes, some COR kasi indicate that there's a BMBE. Most of the BMBE filers kasi are very much aware that they're accredited because there's a specific certification for that. Now, most RDOs naman, they indicate that on the certificate of registration. So just in case you're under BMBE, there's a BMBE button, yes or no, on the settings of your Taxumo account. So your account will know accordingly how it should reflect on the tax forms that you are filing.
I see. Okay, awesome. I hope that answers your question, Tasha. And if may follow-up ka pa, please, you can comment down below. Next naman yung question natin is coming in from LG Labutong. So, sa CWTS po na part, need po ba mag-upload ng 2307 to support the inputted amount? Thank you.
Okay. In this case, I want to clarify what CWTS means. But in terms of 2307, if you want the attachment to be included on the, kasi it's quarterly filing, if you want the attachment, the 2307s to be included in the attachments that we submit, it would be best that you upload that on your Taxumo account on withheld tax received. Now, for others naman who can, file, they want to file externally their attachment and just after filing the form, you can just input the value directly. But for Taxumo, since we want to serve you end-to-end, it would be best if you input the details accordingly and upload them on your Taxumo account on withheld tax received.
Yes, so, yes, kailangan niyo pa. So to be, on the short answer, kailangan talagang, to be on the safe side, mag-upload na lang kayo ng 2307s nyo. Next question here is from Haneshka C. So what are the BIR forms or reports that you need to file? The tax type is income tax and avail the 8% tax on gross income.
Okay. So, yeah, you want answer, Lige?
Well, yeah, so ano lang, since 8% tax in 8% ka lang, you'll only need to file your 1701 Q and 1701A depend, which is your annual ITR. So yun yan talaga yung kailangan if you're on 8%. And then don't forget the attachments if meron kayo, which is 2307. And yung SAWT if you're withholding agent, but most most of the time 2307 lang yung kailangan.
On that point
Or
as well, Kaneshka, we want to clarify that this specific session kasi is for income tax filing. So the very reference of what BIR forms you need to file, like what Leach mentioned on the start of the session, you need to check on your certificate of registration. What forms were enlisted there so that you know accordingly, aside from income tax, what other forms do you need to file. Now also, on the context of income tax and percentage tax, kasi the provision for of BIR for those who opted for the income tax rate type is that the percentage tax is automatically at zero tax due. Now, best to clarify on your RDO as well if the percentage tax is written on your COR, if you still need to file those, or if there's no need for you to file. Kasi there are people, they also have updated their registration. So in that case, it really depends. It's hard to answer on a full context unless, we can see the documents that you have. But the best reference is really to check on your certificate of registration.
Yes, so yeah. Double check your COR, guys. Yun talaga yung first action. You're unsure of the forms that you need to file. COR is the best action to take. My follow-up question si Haneshka. So the business registration date was October 7, 2020. Is it the transactions covered starting October 7 onwards lang po ba? So, yeah. Okay.
Okay, on this question for Haneshka, kasi some people really have no transactions before they got registered. If that's the case, the best reference is to check the period coverage of filing. So kung October ka registered, so that is for the fourth quarter. So you don't need to file the previous quarters kasi wala ka namang transaction or registrations to declare on that. So the best reference is that. But if it's on another case, you have transactions and then you want to reflect that accordingly. If you need to file the previous forms, I think it would be best if we discuss it internally and if we can talk to a CPA about it. What transactions are those? If it's prior to registration, what are the things that you need to make sure to include there?
Awesome. Keep the questions coming in, guys. So thanks a lot for your comments tonight. And my question dito from Elvin Kasem. So, yung question niya is, ano po mas madaling filing ng tax rate? Po ba na graduated rates or itemized deduction or 8% kung ang business ay less than 250K gross annual income?
Okay. In this case, we're not in the position to say which is madali. Kasi parang it's a subjective term. But in Taxumo, the computations are automated. We want to be clear that this person kasi Elvin is citing the 250,000 gross income annual. So like in this case, the non-taxable threshold. This is applied to those who are on those who are filing for their business or their profession. If you're earning solely from your business or profession, this is factored in on the computation, regardless of your income tax rate. So kahit graduated rate ka or 8%, if you're earning solely from your business and this is income tax, this is factored in. So in the context of which is easier, that really depends kasi these computations are, or which would be better for you, which would be the best for your business or profession. It really depends on the context of your transactions kasi, of which is easier. But people find that the 8% is easier kasi it's straightforward income, that's it. But for graduated rate, this itemized deduction, the expenses are also factored in. So, up to you if you find it easy to go for 8%.
Yeah, and I'd also like to add that if you're on graduated rates, my percentage or VAT kayo na kailangan ipepay. So that's sales tax. The 250K is only for your income tax. So you need to factor that into your when you decide as well. Kasi that 3% example sa percentage tax, that is not, hindi nag-apply doon yung 250K na deduction.
But we want to clarify to everyone that it's hard to address the concern if the full context is not there. So the good thing in using Taxumo is you just input all of your information there. Your account will know what to do specifically for the transactions that you have.
Yes, exactly. And then I'd like to, ano pala guys nga, it's very, like tax planning is very important, like what Elvin has been citing na what's the best tax schedule to take to be able to optimize yung taxes ng business. And then if you really want the best answer, guys, you need to consult with an accountant. Kasi sila yung may knowledge talaga on how to marry yung parang business operations nyo, yung finances nyo, as well as like ano yung best na schedule for your business. So if you guys want, my service kami, which is called Taxumo Consult, where you're able to have a consultation with our partner accountants at Taxumo. So if you want the best answer talaga, go for our Taxumo vetted partner accountants. So ayun, I think that's the last question for tonight. So you guys, if you have any additional questions, please comment down below and we'll answer them in the comment section afterwards. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here tonight. And I just like to encourage everyone to sign up for free to a Taxumo account. So we've seen with Melanie earlier kung paano pinapamadali ni Taxumo yung tax filing process. So guys, we don't ask for a credit card information and any of that. It's all free for you to use. You can test out the system for as long as you want, and once you're ready to go for a Taxumo subscription, then we're just here. You could test it out, try yung mga income expenses. You could see your tax just being calculated actually. So ayun, sign up for free, guys. It's worthwhile talaga. And thank you so much once again for Melanie for being here with us today and teaching us about how to file your 701Q online. And my parting words ka ba, Melanie, for our viewers tonight?
So we just want to remind and tell everyone that you don't have to feel alone and feel threatened about taxes. I know this can be a somehow stressful topic for others, but this is why Taxumo is here. So if along your journey you need help, we are here to assist you. The platform has automated most of the things that you need already, and we also have free onboarding sessions just in case you want to get to know everything and the other tax forms and how to file. We do free sessions weekly, so there's a button to do onboarding on the website as well. It's for free, and once you are there, you can ease your way to tax it easy with Taxumo.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Melanie. And I'd like to plug in as well kasi this week we're discussing yung 8% tax for 701Q. Next week, we will be discussing naman yung graduated income tax rate. So watch out for that event. And if you're not on 8%, then the next session is definitely for you. So thank you once again, Melanie, and thanks everyone for being here tonight. And see you on the next webinar. Bye.